So this is a limited edition from Team Forbes for the tribal tattoo tour. He used the stickers to wrap the coils, and actually I just tried it just to try it, and I liked it so much that I had to buy it right away. So I love this machine. I have 6 already, so I'm a big fan of Team's machines, but I always find a reason to buy a new one. Yeah, this one is really good. I've been doing a bunch of tattoos on the tour with this one. Yeah, perfect liner. Yeah, now I'm gonna use it with a 14 round from Smith Street Tattoo Needles from Lucky's. You would think it's the same, but I don't know what they do, but they're different than the regular Lucky needles. I like the Smith Street better. It's more the way that I work. You know, I think sometimes it can all be good quality, but you have to find the equipment that works right for you, you know?
Yeah. Is it a special edition that Smith Street?
Yeah. I think it's... Yeah, you can read it there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be fast. Yeah, but I really, because like this, I get out of the house and I train. Because when I'm at home, I work in the house and
I guess the guys at Smith Street and we have a similar way to work. That's probably why I like them.
Yeah, it's a house I was renting before, and we got a good price. Well, we have to make a big loan in the bank, I guess, and pay for the next 27 years. But it's the money we have to pay back on the loan. It's like less, it's like you rent an apartment in the city. That's cool, super cool. So, and we have a house in the super garden. Yeah, that's why we did it. We're like, okay, let's do this because otherwise we're going to spend more money afterwards. And
so, and what I recognize that your next customer, is he a friend of yours or?
I never met him before. It's a tattooer that I have been following for a long time on Instagram, on social media. Slavor Mishev from Poland.
To see all of those guys, like some of them I knew from like internet, we get some contact, but yeah, today I basically met everybody personal, and it's fucking amazing. Yeah, that's a nice feeling. That's a nice feeling.
Very good.
And I really like his work, and we were just talking, and it was not an appointment, but yeah, I'm going to tattoo him, which is, it's cool that I get to tattoo people that I actually like their work, you know? So it's also a lot of pressure, because somebody that I respect, you know? So, but it's nice that he wants to get tattooed by me, because I like his work. I like how he's experimenting a lot, and you know, sometimes he takes chances, sometimes more successfully than others, but I like that he's trying to do something different and interesting, and you know.
Can you describe his work?
Well, it's like traditional tattoos, but with a psychedelic touch, like heavy psychedelic touch. And maybe because in Poland they are a little bit more isolated from other countries, it looks different, you know. Doesn't look like everybody else. It's not that different either, you know. Like you can see references to tattooers that I like Dan Hicks or Ed Hardy or Eric Bartholomeus, but his way, you know. Like I like when people brings more things to the game. Like some people just take, but they don't bring anything interesting, anything new, you know. And of course we all take, I do too, but this guy, he brings something interesting to the whole tattoo game, so it makes it interesting, you know, makes things moving, and you know, more people bringing new ideas and just refreshing the old ones, making the same old ones in a different way, you know. So it's interesting the way he does things. I like it a lot.
good. I feel like we really did it. I feel like we're fucking glorious soldiers. And we just did a fucking...
That's the right feeling.
Yeah,
That's it.
we survived the tat battle. Today we just rejoice in our victories.
Oh, this one right here.
Oh,
Yeah, yep. I think that's the only tattoo that I'll ever get for free. It was on my birthday, and I walked in, and he said, "Sit down," and he put it on me.
how old is this one? 30?
1984.
Let's see my Slayer tattoo.
Travel shirt just keeps on unraveling. Are you floss?
Air Feeler's day off?
My name is Brad Fink. I'm co-owner of Daredevil Tattoo in New York City, as well as Iron Age Tattoo in St. Louis, Missouri. For me, it's been challenging and eye-opening. You know, I mean, there's a lot of different personalities, let's just say that, in one small space. So, you know, it's been challenging. A lot of big personalities, you know. And I love Patrick, and I love you guys, you know, and I mean, I consider you now lifelong friends, but, you know, I have my world and why I thought this was a good idea. And nothing to do with anything other than the fact that there's so much in such small quarters, and you know, some nights, like the night that we got on the ferry where we had to get up at 4 in the morning for an hour and a half, and then we had 2 more hours to sleep after that. I mean, that's just challenging stuff, especially when you get to be 84 like I am, you know, so. Today was a good day. Yesterday was a challenging day, I think, for, you know, half the people on our tour, because a lot of us are in the age bracket where we're not as sought after as we once were. So, you know, when you have all the different layers of the challenges of having this many people on a bus, and then you pile on top of that not as many tattoos that you would like to do, yeah, it's you know, it's a lot to digest. I lost my phone on top of it all, so and that added another layer of frustration, you know. So I got it back, so. That frustration is obviously turned to bunny rabbits and angel kisses. But you know what? It's really not that bad, because like all day yesterday I didn't have my phone and I was reaching for it, but it was at a certain point I was almost glad that I didn't have it, And then, you know, I was like, well, I'll have to get a new phone when I get back. Maybe I'll just get a flip phone or something simple, you know. I mean, it's obviously a distraction, and you know, I think a lot of us are sucked into it, and a lot of us are you know, addicted. I mean, it's a habit, and you know, it's a bad habit unless it's in moderation. So, you know, there you go. There's a little lesson for you.
There's your little lesson, Ollie.
Well, I'm from St. Louis, born and bred, and Iron Age was opened in 1994. You know, I was 24 years old. I really had no idea what I was doing. Looking back, I don't know if I would really do the same thing, but in high school, all I wanted to do was get out of St. Louis. I grew up in St. Louis. You know, it's a lot of different layers to St. Louis as well, a lot of racial tension, a lot of crime. I just wanted something more, and then all of a sudden, for whatever reason, I opened Iron Age, and then I got stuck there another 30 years. So that's where that was. So that was my home base, and then I got married and had kids, so that was what rooted me to St. Louis. And then as time goes on, you know, you purchase things, and you just more and more get sucked in. In the meantime, in 1997, when tattooing was legalized in New York City, my business partner, Michelle Miles, and myself decided to open a shop, as a lot of people did. We were just basically jumping on the bandwagon because the gates were open. And she's from St. Louis, so that's where that connection is. And we've, you know, been friends for a long, long time. And so we decided to go in business together in 1997. And, you know, I still have, you know, more and more respect for my business partner, Michelle, and my business partner at Iron Age, Mark Andrews, because they really do a fantastic job, you know. And I've had bad business partners, and you know, I'm very fortunate to have had these business partners maintained for, you know, 20 plus years on both of them. So I'm out of it. Like I handed, you know, that's a whole nother story, but I mean, I just, after so many years, it wasn't for me. I'm not I have 2 kids, and you know, I just found it very difficult to adapt to a different generation. I wasn't good at it, and you know, I spending so much time in a tattoo shop, especially the city where you grew up, it's you know, a lot of times I feel like I've had so many stagnant periods, you know, from dealing with the shop part of it to trying to get your homework done for your tattoos and all that stuff. It was just, I had enough. And so, you know, finally, after you know, 30 years, my wife and I and kids relocated to Florida. So now I reside in St. Petersburg, Florida, and we have a lot of family down there, and I work occasionally at Jimmy Whitlock's Lucky's Museum in Largo, and I'm doing a considerable amount of commissions and paintings and things that I've neglected for 30 years, because generally I was so busy with tattooing, or if it was an art project, it was for a book. But as far as having free-flowing art that's not for something, or not a deadline, or specifics and stuff like that, like, this is the first time since high school I've been able to really explore those avenues of art. So I'm sort of transitioning, I believe, into more of that. And I still love tattooing. I just physically can't do it like I once could, and I mentally, you know, it's difficult as well. So, but yeah. Well, both shops are street shops, although when we initially opened Iron Age was on the second floor. We had a very small sign, and that was 1994. So that was a huge transition from a long time of not a lot of action going on in tattooing to just this kind of growth. You know, I feel in my mind like it sort of started in the mid 80s and kind of you know, spidered out and evolved from there. I believe that you know, I think at that time there was a big call for the custom shop and whatever, and when you made it more like a hair salon and all that. And you know, later on we moved to the first floor and we made it a little bit more street shop-ish, but it still sort of had, you know, like a gallery feel. And my partner and I are just very cautious and conscious about the design of it. We're both kind of, you know, into design and things like that. So we used a lot of like raw wood, like the, you know, 14 layer birch plywoods and metals and things like that. So that was 1994 when we were doing that. Our rent was doubled, so we were forced to find a new home. So luckily, at the guidance of my business partner Michelle, she found this fantastic spot, 7 blocks south of the initial location. Basically where Ludlow intersects Canal Street. We're on Division Street. And so she found a spot that was rent to own, and that was, you know, just a little over 5 years ago. It wasn't so long ago. And we were very, very fortunate to be able to later purchase that spot. But as we were building, Michelle's husband, Kevin, is a contractor, and he basically built out all of our crazy ideas. And you know, we'd sit there, and Michelle and I would come up with something, and we're just like, yeah, I don't know how to, you figure out how to make it happen. But it was just, you know, kind of crazy stuff. And you know, it was a good time designing that shop. But it was after Kevin started building that shop that we decided to do a museum, and it hadn't dawned on me that we were 5 blocks from Chatham Square. And obviously, in tattooing, that's a very significant spot and epicenter. After we secured the space, you know, I said, Michelle, we should get some cabinets made, and we should, you know, display some of this stuff because it's such a hugely significant spot, you know. And so that's what we did. We had some people make some security cases for us, and we turned it to a museum, you know. And I couldn't be more thrilled that it's been accepted like it has. And you know, I think it's lovely when a high school teacher brings her class, you know, for a field trip to the museum. I mean, it's, you know, I wasn't going on any class trips to tattoo shops when I was in high school. So the fact that, you know, when you kind of look at it and you look at that evolution, that's just such a strong thing. Because I mean, you know, security guards used to follow me around, you know, Neiman Marcus when I was in my 20s, thinking I was gonna pocket everything, where now, you know, they're selling, you know, the Ed Hardy gear or other tattoo influenced stuff. So it's really the evolution of where tattooing has come in the last 30 years is you know, interesting.
Thank you so much.
That's it? That's all you got?
Yeah, that's it.
Oh my God, really? Just get warmed up.
I didn't save any more.
To no one?
I'm sorry, no. Nothing. I'm dried up.
Not even to Pablo?
I'm dried up.
But
I'm dried up.
Pablo's missing you.
I have no more. You suck me dry. You suck me for everything I fucking have, okay? Alright, are you fucking happy? Huh? You won. Is that what you want? You won. Yeah? Alright, you won. You too!
Hi, I'm Zinistan, alias @Tenzin. And this is my shop, Luxembourg Electric Avenue in Luxembourg City, on the best street of town. I think I saw last year, I saw Patrick in Aachen on a convention, and he was talking me about it, that they will do it. He didn't ask me at that moment, and then maybe 3 or 4 months after, I got a call by him, and he was like, hey, is it okay if we pass by at your shop? Because Luxembourg is in the middle of Europe, so it's easy to get from here to everywhere. A lot, of course, because most of them are friends, long-time friends of me. I know them since many years, because I'm since some years in the industry, since 19 years, and of course it's like a little home run. I'm happy that they come here on the last day, because I of course try, and all my crew of the shop try to give them the best time of that trip, hopefully. And with food, a little bit sightseeing, some beers. Of course also a lot of customers, because it seems like everybody's busy, even if not everybody had appointments before. So at the end everybody's busy and happy. I did a Euro trip where I did like, in 36 days I made 21 countries, I made 76 tattoos, and I made around 32 guest spots, and was alone by myself. So I did the first 2 weeks with the car, and then the last 2 weeks I made with the last 2 or 3 weeks I made with the airplane. It was fun. Like in the morning I traveled with the airplane, I worked in the day, and in the evening I had dinner, take a hotel around the airport, and in the morning jump in the next airplane. It was really fun. I was by myself because it's easier sometimes for me. I prefer traveling alone by myself because I know I don't never want to like be too late on an airplane, miss an airplane. I'm a pretty geek in that. And I don't want to wait people. I want to do it myself. It would be of course cool to do it with 2 or 3 people, but I know it's gonna be some kind of mess. I trust in myself that it sounds dumb, but...
And how did you prepare yourself?
First I put more or less a plan on Europe, how I could jump around to do it every day a guest spot. Then I I try to get the best shops of every country. Like I go to Tintin in France, I go to Mig in Switzerland, I go to Andreas, to Hannes, and to Luc Atkinson in Germany. In Italy I went to Daniele Ohang, to Beppe Strambini, and to Rudi Fritsch. And they are all also long-time friends of mine. So then I started asking everybody, can I be on that day in your shop? And somehow it was really easy. And everybody was okay, and everybody like, yeah. And then I booked all my airplanes, all my hotels. I made some shirts, I made some stickers. I got Black Claw, solid ink, and some disposable tubes. Soul, I think it's Soul Tattoo, I don't know. As sponsors, and I went for it. And I didn't miss any airplane. I was there. I made everybody happy. I draw on every tattoo. I didn't know what people want, so the same day they tell me like, I want this, and I draw it on. So it was a very easy trip for me. I made it easy for myself. It depends where. I wouldn't do it in America because of the customs. I think it's really hard already alone by myself to fly in, because of course I don't want to get banned from the United States because they think or they try to find out that I'm working there. So I think, yeah, I try to be by myself. One man wolf pack is easier than having, yeah. I tried. I can go there and there, see this friends. Yeah, and I think with the customs makes me really paranoid because they would like. So what are you guys doing? You're doing a tour around the States. So this name is this. No, I would think about the option, but I don't know. Maybe somewhere in Asia, somewhere in Europe, I would do it for sure. But America, it's really hard with the customs, and it's getting harder because they I don't want to get deported from the United States.
Oh, subtle details. We fucked you up, we text some on it. Oh, you know, it's like just fucking
shit. I was gonna try to somehow fuck with Will and mine all on top of his, but now I know.
He said, who's making a fire here?
I just made some hot lay down a fucking track, son. But fuck you, son. You wanna suck butt? Wanna suck on what? Hope you sick of son.
Pretty late right now. Why don't we
My name is Freddie Corbin, and I own Temple Tattoo and Tattoo 13 in Oakland, California. I did expect the guys, myself included, to maybe be a little grumpy after the convention because it had been like 5 days and then a 3-day convention. And when you get tired, you know, you get kind of grumpy sometimes, unintentionally. But I think really everyone's done really well with traveling together. It's been a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. And, you know, I thought for sure that I would get a hotel when we got to Aachen, and I didn't. Thought it was really fun sitting in the chairs at night, you know, hanging out. So I found it to be really enjoyable. You know, I definitely have made some friends that I didn't have before. No enemies, so that's good. And, I mean, yeah, some things came up that I didn't really expect, but nothing, like, important enough to really talk about. I would say that somebody from mostly like a music touring background came up with the idea to take a group of tattooers through a country and some of its perimeters to a different city every day and tattoo the folks of that city, or even people that came in. I'll start over.
Thanks for the beer.
To tattoo the people of that city, you know, or even yesterday we were tattooing in Paris, and I tattooed somebody from London, somebody from Ireland, and two guys from Italy. You know, so a lady came from Finland to get tattooed in Berlin. You know, so not to stray from the answer, but basically it's like something that's never been done before. So I would say that we basically went on a tattoo adventure that's never happened in this way as of yet. You know, I will also add that a couple of guys have been like, I've traveled to Europe with friends before, and it's like, yeah, so have I. You know what I mean? Like, I've traveled to a convention with 6 or 7 guys, and then we went and worked, you know, at Bepe's shop afterwards, and maybe went to John's place, but never, ever have I flown with a bunch of guys, met in one spot, jumped on a bus, a sleeper bus, that goes to a different city each day. Never happened. So I'm very excited to be a part of that because, you know, like, I've been around long enough to know what's happened and what hasn't. You know, it's not as exciting as it might sound. Basically, I worked with a guy who's a bit grumpy. And so basically, you know, tattoo handles, I always wanted a tattoo handle just like anybody else. But the guy that taught me how to tattoo and the guys that were around, like Dan Higgs or Sonny Tufts or no, they all called me Freddie Jesus because you know, when you write an appointment, I would write like, you know, Ollie Rose or Sasha Jesus Head or whatever it is. So all my appointments are always like Freddy/Jesus. So they were like, that's such a great name. And, you know, I was like, it's a little presumptuous. Like, I'm not going to go by Freddy Jesus. And then later that year, people would say, like, oh, go to Erno's. They're really cool over there. There's so-and-so. He's a bit of a grumpy guy. Go to Freddy. He's the nice guy. So that was like Freddy being the nice guy just turned into like Mr. Nice Guy. So I put it on cards and stickers for a bit. I haven't used it since 2000. But, you know, still around a little bit. Maintaining honesty. Because sometimes you say things just to, like, you know, be polite or get out of a situation, you know. So that's probably, it's not hard for me, you know what I mean? Like, I'd rather, you know, be kind to somebody than to be an asshole, because that's how I want people to treat me, and I find that you learn more about a person, you know, being interested or nice than you do being a bit of a dick. You know, so I don't find it difficult, really. Yeah, I mean, I can't say that I'm always nice. You know, and also too, I mean, yeah, there's times where you have to just kind of deal with somebody on a very, like, you know, whatever, primal level, and just kind of cut it, you know, so, I mean, that would be, I think, being more strategic than being nice, you know. Well, I guess I've seen people that embrace it on a way bigger level than I do. You know what I mean? So, you know, like say monastic monks or whatever, you know, they're just completely devoted. And I'm not a devotee. You know, I'm a layman. I'm just running around doing my thing. I just kind of like try to be conscious and mindful of other people and what's around me, you know. Just being aware of what's around you is how I try and incorporate it into my daily routine. I like candle burning a lot. Prayers are cool. I don't really get caught up in like specific mantras or certain prayers, because I've learned as the years go on, like, you know, you can learn certain prayers and stuff like that, and there's nothing wrong with that, and it's kind of neat to learn that stuff. But I actually don't think that there needs to be, you know, I don't think we need a mediator between us and like whatever the source or all creator of all is. So I've learned that when I used to, like, okay, I'm going to say, you know, either the Lord's Prayer or the Om Mani Padme Hum or whatever it is, and now I just kind of like say what I want to say. You know, I just feel like I'm talking to the source, and I either, not him, but thank it, show gratitude, you know, please bless my kid and wife or look after them or whatever. I just get very direct, and I find that it works for me because I speak English. I don't speak, you know, Sanskrit. I don't speak Tibetan. You know what I mean? You know, Vatican is a little weird. So, you know, I've learned that these prayers kind of come from some strange places, actually. So I've actually dropped a lot of the, what's the right, formalities of certain religions and just kind of go directly to the source. You know, I don't really necessarily have a relationship with the Dharma punks. What I do have a relationship with is, I have a very close relationship with Vinny Ferrara, who's very close with Noah Levine. So I met Noah hanging around 222. He was a real good friend of Scott Sylvia's for a long time. And I took like one retreat, kind of a silent retreat with Noah and Vinny together at Spirit Rock, which is in Marin, kind of close to where I live, about an hour away. And I found it enlightening, but it's not really, meditation really isn't like my thing personally, a little too hyper for meditation. So basically I could consider Vinny to be like my teacher, you know what I mean? Like he's one of my best friends, you know, and I've probably learned more from him than I have from any other person on the planet. So, you know, so that would be my relationship to the Dharma punks, you know. I've been to some of the meditations and stuff like that. it's funny. I guess in some ways, like, not seriously at all. And then other times, you know, there's these life or death moments that you gotta kind of be serious. I don't know if that answers the question, but that's my take. Yeah. Claude Cloud? Claude Cloud is a fictional character of like a hipster tattooer that takes himself way too seriously and whose ego is inflated by followers on Instagram. So that's who Claude Cloud is. And the creator of Claude Cloud, Andrew Stortz, is a great tattooer from Hobo Tattoo in New Hampshire. I'm 99% sure. I haven't been there, but New Hampshire. And trying to remember the name of the tattooer. Jason Scott owns the shop. And what's neat about Andrew is he's brought an element of comedy into tattooing that is very unique and very genius. It's never really been done before. But also, on the same note, if you came into it like wanting to do that, it would be that would be ridiculous. You know, so it's kind of just this really organic process or manifestation of like him having like a great sense of humor, knowing how to use the equipment you guys are using, you know, editing and doing stuff on computers that most of us don't know how to do, and making it happen. You know what I mean? So that's where who Claude Cloud is, basically. He's a manifestation of Andrew Stort's fucked mind. He does different ones. So, you know, there's like spiritual tattoos in the forest. He made a tattoo school commercial while we were battling the school, and he's so awesome that he didn't even send it to me. He just made it. And then I found out about it like a week later, and I would have given anything to know about it during that battle because I would have used it, of course. But, you know, he's a real sweet, humble guy. So Claude Cloud is like one character, and a caricature is a drawing. So Claude Cloud is one character of Andrew Stortz. He also has like the tattoo school teacher, and he did a few series on that, and he's done he did something on the Green Circle, and he does all different, he has a little news flash thing, so he has many characters, and he has a channel on YouTube, of course, Andrew Stort's channel. So Claude Cloud is one of them. Yeah. And again, it's nice because it's kind of light, you know, it's not super serious, and serious stuff comes out of the conversation, of course, but like I laughed out a few times watching it, which is pretty rare, you know, and I found the other ones very interesting as well. I like that you can watch them, you know, like as well as just listen to them, you know, so yeah, I think they're great, you know, and we'll see what he does next too. He'll probably do those for a little bit and then jump onto something else, you know. Well, I guess that would be acting, right? Actually, I did act for a few minutes, and it was actually a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. It happened because a couple friends of mine were pitching the show to Fox. And an old friend of mine, and then a new friend that he had introduced me with, John Linson, the producer of the show. So I was tattooing John, had known David LaBrava, who plays Happy, for many, many, many years. And they came to me and said, hey, we're going to pitch this show. It's going to be like The Sopranos meets the Hells Angels for FX. And I thought, yeah, right, like that'll happen. And then it happened. And then they called me and said, hey, we're trying to make the cut for the show, and the art department isn't really coming through. Would you draw it? You know. So that's how I got to that part, was because basically they would do anything. The cool thing about the production team of Sons of Anarchy, the writer and the producer, is anytime there was they used the shit out of that image, obviously. You know, it was on the letterhead of my check. It's like everywhere. I've got bootleg versions of it. You know, I see it at the flea market or whatever, just for fun. And so what that was it was a way for them to get me a gig to make a little bit more money than I had made on the original drawing. So it was like, hey, we could throw you on the show for a minute or two and you'll make X amount of dollars. Or hey, we're doing this like Harley commercial, we're doing a co-marketing thing. Do you want to be in the commercial? and you know, you could make some money doing that or whatever, you know, and I'd say sure or whatever if it worked out, you know, sometimes it did, sometimes it did, but it was just them kind of looking out for me, throwing me a bone, which is pretty cool. Usually it's like thanks and that's the last you ever hear of them, you know, so I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Don't say that.
That's it, made it back to Frankfurt, a little tired. You know, everybody's about to catch their plane back home. Freddie and Scott got one more night at the hotel here in Frankfurt. And now I guess it's a wrap. We did it.